Hello again. After seeing the comments made yesterday by the soon to be president of the Oxford Union, I fell to wondering how such a stupid and unpleasant person could possibly have ended up studying philosophy, politics, and economics at the University of Oxford. The reason I say this is that this is one of the most sought after and competitive courses at Oxford, and only the very brightest of the bright usually gain a place on the course. That means getting at least three A levels at A or A starred. Usually successful applicants have more than that, say 4 A stars. In the case of George Abaraonye, though, he had only an A and two Bs. I know something about the process of applying for a place to study PPE at Oxford, for this is what my daughter did. She got a double first, let's say a distinction in the prelims, followed by a first in the finals. The idea of somebody getting a place with a couple of Bs is simply grotesque. The only possible way that this could be managed is by means of what is known as a contextual offer. This is how Oxford and Cambridge, along with other Russell Group universities, have managed to increase the number of black students they admit by lowering their standards. If they did not do so, there would be very few black people at those universities. The only people that got there, if it was a level playing field, would be white Chinese or Gujarati Hindus. How does this trick work, you ask? The game is called contextual offers. This essentially means that ethnic minorities and working class school pupils are identified and given special preference when decisions are made about whom to interview and admit. The first stage of this racket is worked by analysing the postcodes of those applying. Using either a system called Acorn or another known as Polar, it is possible to spot those who live in poor districts and even identify individual streets in which few older adults have been to university. The schools which applicants have attended are also scrutinised, and if few pupils do well at A levels in those schools or get to places such as Oxford or Cambridge University, this is another positive mark. Children who have been in care are also singled out for special attention. Because black people and certain other visible minorities, those whose families are from Pakistan or Bangladesh, tend to be poorer and less well educated than the average white Chinese or Indian family, studying postcodes and schools in this way will provide one not only with poor working class pupils, but often specifically those who are black or whose families have their origin in Pakistan or Bangladesh. Of course, it's impossible to filter the candidates further by means of their names. It's often easy enough to spot African or Caribbean names. For example, somebody whose Christian name is Junior, Jermaine, or Jarmel is probably of Caribbean heritage. Both Acorn and Polar can be tweaked to find specific minorities as well. As with so many public bodies in modern Britain, the object of the exercise here is to ensure that the student body reflects the community, as they say. This means deciding that you will have around 5% of students who are black, and you work accordingly. Because very few black students get 3 A's, let alone 3 or 4 A stars at A level, you have to allow those students in who only have a couple of B's, something which would be extremely unlikely to happen with a white student. You also need to be a little less strict with the thinking skills assessment, which those wishing to do PPE at Oxford have to take. This is a very tough examination which measures the ability to think rigorously and logically. Once you've got your black students into the university with an A and two Bs, rather than the 3 or 4 A stars which the white students have, you can then relax and depend upon the student body to bend over backward to see that those black students end up as president of the Oxford Union, say, or other important positions. Because, of course, most of the white students have been indoctrinated at school into the guilt felt by those possessed of white privilege, and they're only too keen to play along with this patronising game.